Holy crap! Is that coal ore? Hey guys, it's me, Control here, and welcome back to another Minecraft mod showcase. Now the mod I'm using today is the Eternal Frost mod from Minecraft 1.5.1, and this mod adds a whole new dimension, the dimension of eternal coldness and frozen frostness. Now, I probably said that completely wrong, but there we go. I think that kind of suits the dimension. You'll kind of see it when you go in. But before we get started, this mod adds a whole new load of ores in our new dimension, and some new tools which I'll show you soon, and some new mobs. So I'll go through all these new blocks first. Firstly, it kind of starts off with the simple ones, so frozen grass, frozen coal, frozen sand, and then we got deep frozen ice, so that seems to me just be ice that's been refrozen. Then we've got frozen glowstone, no, not frozen, that's a first, crystal ore, archetype ore, and bluestone ore. Now these ores are all really valuable. They're all pretty much the same strength as diamonds, so they're very strong and very useful. Now this, which I showed you earlier, the deep frozen ice, it has pretty much the same properties of ice, except it's a hell of a lot slippier. So as you can see, if I just tap forward now and let go now, as you can see, I just slide all the way off. It'd be really good for making parkour maps and things like that. I can't really think of any real uses, possibly, in survival, but this mod, it really is made for survival. So in here, obviously to make this portal to get to our new dimension, we need ice obsidian, and this has to be crafted in the overworld, obviously, so you can make the portal. And that's pretty much just some obsidian, surrounded by 4 snow, and that'll give you 1 ice obsidian. You also need to light it, and to light it you need a flint and diamond, so obviously it's a bit more special than a flint and steel. Flint and diamond to craft, simple as, and there we go. So our flint and diamond, the one thing I absolutely love about this, when you right click it creates this awesome blue flame, which is like a flame of coldness. It reminds me of the Cold Star episode in Doctor Who. I'll not go on about that, but anyway. So basically, to go through this portal, you need your ice obsidian. Same as another portal, light it with your flint and diamond, and boom. So as soon as you jump into this, you usually get an achievement, but I've already done it. It basically says, it's cold in here, which isn't really surprising, because it's kind of just like jumping into a portal of coldness. So, welcome to our frozen dimension. Now, as you look around, you can tell it's just going to be really cold. You've got blue flames everywhere. Everything seems a little bit frozen. Here we've got frozen stone. I didn't show you that earlier. You've got some water over there. You've got a huge waterfall of water. And this water is actually deadly. So if you go in this water, you will take damage because it's just so cold, which I think really makes sense. Now, in this world, there are a ton of mobs running around. I don't really think I've got time to go through every single one of them. But as you see here, we've got just like a Yeti. And he will throw snowballs at you. And he will just basically attack you, as you can see. He kills you pretty quickly. He's not unbelievably strong. He's not exactly a huge Yeti as you would picture it, but he's pretty strong. Now over here we've got an ice cube, which again is pretty much the same as the magma cube of the overworld. They bounce around. He just managed to bounce out of the way of my sword there. But he bounces around, and if you kill him, he will drop some stuff, but then split into smaller ones. So as you can see here, he dropped some ice shards, some frozen glowstone, and some snowballs. And then again, as you saw, he split into smaller ones of these. Now, as you see here, we've got some bluestone ore, and I found that just pretty much lying around. So that kind of just leads me to believe that that's probably one of the more common ones. Although saying that, looking around, I can't really see much more, so maybe not. Now, down here we have the Eternal Frost equivalent of a pig. Now, this is, I've forgotten their name. I think it's something like a frozen boar. It takes too long because if you just look in your inventory, you can find the spawn eggs of all these guys. And there are actually a hell of a lot to go through. As you saw, there was a Yeti, there's a woolly mammoth, a goat, the horned goat, a cold knight. There is loads. I don't know if I'll be able to go through it. Maybe just some of the cool guys, but here we go. This is your, I've forgotten what it was, I said it earlier. But when you kill them, they basically just drop you some pork chops. I think they're just raw pork chops, normal as you'd expect. And some ham, which again is a new food which has been added. So here I've spawned in a woolly mammoth, and obviously he's pretty big. It looks like he's just over 2 blocks high, and he's pretty much just a passive, friendly mob in the Eternal Frost dimension. They're pretty rare to come by, but if you kill them, you will get a hell of a lot of food. Now, as you can see, I have hit him, and he kind of became aggressive, and yeah, so he's become aggressive. It's kind of hard to tell when you're in creative mode. But when you do kill these guys, as you can see, they're tough. I'm using the best sword in the game. It took quite a lot of hits. And he will drop pelt, which is a food, and they will drop different amounts. For example, earlier I killed one of these and it dropped 11. This time it's only dropped 2. So it kind of depends on something. I'm not entirely sure what. But different times it will drop different amount of pelts. So there we go. So over here we've got a cold creeper. Now obviously this is the creeper of the eternal frost dimension. They're not exactly rare, but as you can see their skin actually kind of hides them when they're stood next to all this stone. So they can sneak up on you even though they're right next to you. So as you can see, the further away you get, the harder that becomes to see. And if you're not exactly looking out for it, it will turn up, unlike a creeper which is just bright green and you can see it anywhere. So I'll go ahead and hit him. And let's get him to explode because he has a pretty big explosion. The explosion itself is actually really big. However, the explosion, the radius is really big, but the power doesn't seem that high because obviously this stone is quite a lot stronger than normal stone, and TNT wouldn't be as effective because obviously it's been frozen together and it's extra hard. Now over here we have some frozen sand, which again we saw earlier. It's just normal sand. I wonder if it does have the falling properties, although it's a little bit glitchy, as you just saw. We've got a ton of this blue fire. There's one of our friendly pigs, an ice cube even, a yeti over here. I'll go ahead and spawn in some more stuff. Okay, so there are actually boss fights in this dimension as well. Now, these temples don't actually come ready formed, but you can find one of these things which is called a dungeon block, and if you click on it, it will generate a dungeon and give you a boss to fight. Now, here we have the Spider Queen fight, and it has this really impressive dungeon kind of look. And if you walk in here, we have some chests if you can get here. Crystal bucket, frozen wheat, icy strawberry cake. I probably won't show you all of these foods because there are loads. There are loads of different types of spiders in here, so if you can get in here, go for it. But you'll probably get killed trying to get to these chests. Now, as you saw, there was some pretty valuable stuff in there, so obviously it is worth it. We've got more layers with loads more chests and loads more spawners if you can think you can manage that. Another layer here with some of these awesome torches. And if we go up one more layer, we've actually got the boss fight with the Queen Spider. Except she seems to have run up over there. So let's go ahead and see if we can get to her. Here she is. So if you can go ahead and kill this spider, then obviously you win. And it keeps rebuilding these webs as I break them because obviously it doesn't really want me to kill her. So let's just see if I can get through here. There we go. So, as you can see, when you start a fight with this boss, it plays some boss fight music, which actually sounds really epic. It's like an epic fight scene which has been added to the game. You have to add it when you install the mod, and it just makes this boss fight so much more fun, and it's just epic. So, as you can see, I did manage to kill her. I have killed her a hell of a lot more before I showed you, so it takes about 40-ish hits to kill her, and I was on creative mode, so I probably would have died by then. But as you saw, she dropped a chest with a Thor hammer, which again is a new thing. It's just right click and you can summon lightning. So this mod is actually really huge. I'm going to try and get away from the sound because it's really loud in my headphones. But this mod is huge. It adds loads of boss fights. You can find them all over the place, and if you win them, you get epic things. So yeah. So this is a cold knight, and as you see when you look at him, whoa, he just looks good. It just looks like a fat man, really, but he has a very cool and very powerful sword. Now, usually this would be a boss fight. As you can see at the top, it should have a health bar, but for some reason the texture is missing, and then he just duplicated, so this guy is really hard to beat. Now, in a second I'll show you a dungeon block, which is what you have to hit to spawn the dungeon that these guys will spawn in. But once you attack them, you get this boss music again, and if you actually start hitting him, obviously he's pretty tough, although he's taking damage when he gets in this water, so the water is actually a really good weapon. Now, it'll take quite a long time to kill this guy, because he is very tough, but I'll give it a go. I have the best sword in the game. As you can see, the white texture missing thing at the top is gradually going down, but it takes quite a long time. Alright, hooray, I managed to kill him, and as you can see, he's dropped me a chest. That took a hell of a long time, so really, I only recommend trying to kill him if you are amazing at killing things. As you can see, he's dropped me a Thor hammer, an Ares armor, and Loki boots. And I'm pretty sure Loki's a superhero, so where did that come from? I'm not entirely sure. But if you equip the boots and the armor, as you can see, I honestly don't have... Whoa! So the Loki boots, as you can see, as I walk around, I'm actually spreading fire everywhere I go. And the armor is giving me strength, as you can see when you take it off. It puts it back on, but you get unlimited strength when wearing this armor. Strength 2, so obviously your hit is going to be a hell of a lot more powerful than it usually would be. So if you can kill this guy, which I really doubt you can, that is amazing. It gives you huge advantages and makes you immensely powerful. Now if you look in my inventory, as you can see, there is a hell of a lot more armor and swords and weaponry added by this mod. I really do not have time to go through all of it because it would take hours. This mod is huge, but as you can see, you've got a pelt chestplate. Obviously, when I said earlier about the woolly mammoth, you can eat the pelt, but it seems you can actually also make armor out of it. Here's the Archite boot, so you saw that ore at the beginning. The crystal chestplate, now they are really, really strong. Cold steel leggings, and I honestly haven't heard much about cold steel. I'm not sure if it's something you have to get from a boss. As you can see, there only seem to be cold steel ingot, and there isn't any cold steel ore, so I'm not sure what's going on there. But as you saw, there is tons and tons of armor added by this. It's a huge mod. It actually looks really, really fun to play with. All of these new ores and all of these sort of enchanted armor things here. We saw the Ares armor and the Loki boots, but here we go. We've got a Satan helm, a Hades armor, Loki boots, Bazumath leggings. They all sound like Greek gods to me. And this mod is actually epic. I wish I did have time to go through all of it, but I really don't. All I can tell you is Crystal is pretty much the best. Well, I say that, but Cold Steel is the best, but that's just really, really rare. Followed by Crystal, then I think it's Archite, followed by Snowbark, and then Ice Cobble is pretty much just a cobblestone sword, except made out of cobblestone, well, frozen cobblestone. So this mod is huge. I highly recommend you go download it, try it out, play around with it, because it just adds this really, really awesome dimension. I think it's my favorite dimension adding mod I have ever seen, which is really saying something. There's a link to download it in the description. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you want to. Anyways, Control, signing out.